Welcome to the channel. In this video I want to talk about the warped dash that you're finding on the F-150 and Super Duty F-250 trucks. So basically what we're having and what a lot of people are finding is that on the passenger side on the instrument panel there seems to be a warp happening right here where the dash kind of seems like it has a bubble there. And I was actually watching TFL the other day, and they had an F-150, and they commented on the bubble, the warped dash right there. And it's really interesting because they literally had a brand new truck, and it's like, how can a brand new truck have a warped dash? So looking at my 2019 F-150, this truck only has like 2,000 miles on it, and it does seem to have that hump in the dash, which is really interesting because this truck is so new. Here are my thoughts on this situation. The dashboards, this is just what I've observed. The dashboards on these trucks are not really warping from heat or anything. What I think is happening is from the factory, there's some kind of maybe a production flaw, you would call it. There seems to be like this hump that people are finding was there the whole time when they bought their truck, and then you're noticing it maybe a little bit after you've had the truck for a while. And it seems to affect the trucks that don't have the leather, the fancy dashboards where they're just all plastic dashboards. So right here, this part of the dashboard is pretty thin. It gets real thin here. It gets to be real thin here, but it's real stiff here. So it looks like a warp is how thin the dash is right here. And working in the factory, I've seen these instrument panels come down, brand new instrument panels with that look to it, like that weird hump. And I've seen some that were better than others, and I've seen some that were really bad. But I've also seen most of them are perfect. So I think it's something from the supplier that builds this IP. I don't know exactly who the supplier is, but I think it's not so much that they're warping, but it's something from the supplier that builds the instrument panel, and it's something that the brand new trucks have. I've heard of some stories where Ford has replaced some instrument panels, but in my case, I don't think mine are really bad. There's a minor hump there, if you can see it. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but mine aren't bad. I'm not even worried about it. But if you got a real big hump, maybe you can get a new instrument panel from Ford. I'm not too worried about what I have here. I got another entry-level trim or low trim level truck that I can show you. We'll see if we can see another hump here in my 250. And this is how this truck was from new. So I don't think that they're warping. I think it's more of a flaw from the factory. So if you're buying one of these trucks and you're getting an entry-level truck, maybe an XLT or maybe an XL truck, Super Duty or F-150, just take a quick look before you buy it. And if it's something that's going to bother you, then maybe bring that up. Maybe buy a different truck or whatever case there is. But this is not something that you need to worry about. It's not structural or anything. It doesn't affect the performance of the vehicle. It's just a slight flaw from the supplier. And that's just what I've observed. It seems to be a flaw from the supplier that builds the instrument panels. But look in here, there's a slight hump. It's not real bad on this truck, but I don't know if you guys can pick that up on camera. Like I say, the same thing right there. And I'll show you guys the higher trim level truck too as well, because that might help. Looking at my F-150 here, it's a Lariat. One thing that's different on the Lariat is it has this leather padding. The Lariat has this leather padding here, which kind of changes things up a little bit. So for whatever reason, I don't think Lariats are showing too much are showing this issue. It seems like it's more rigid here on the Lariat. It's more rigid on the Lariat than it is, because it seems like it's real stiff here. So the Lariats have a different type of instrument panel, it looks like. It's not too much that the leather's there. There's kind of like a ridge here. that makes the lariat stiffer. So let me take another look back to the Super Duty. Let me look back at the 150 to see exactly what is different. I don't think it's because it's leather. I think it's because the leather instrument panel has a deeper groove right here. So the leather instrument panel has a big, this part right here of the leather instrument panel is way stiffer than this part, than the lower trim levels. So I think to accommodate that raised padding section, they have a bigger lip of plastic right here, which is preventing this warped appearance. So just my 2 cents on the warp dash. It's not a big deal if you're really OCD, or if you have a bad one. If you have a really warped looking dash, I guess I kind of hear your concern. I don't think any of my vehicles are bad enough for me to really complain, and I'm not worried about it, but I can see the frustration that some people have with this issue. But if it's real bad, maybe Ford will go ahead and put a new instrument panel in for you, but hopefully you don't need all that. But anyway, that's it. That's just my 2 cents on the warp dash. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. And also, please, if you like this kind of content, F-150 content, please subscribe to the channel, and hope to hear from you soon.